This is the multinomial logit model, which is the main choice model we use all the time. So up here, this one.
It's so fun though. I'm Ryan. I'm still Ryan. Haven't learned a new name yet. This week I'm going to be learning about market research, which is researching markets, I think. So here's market research. We got your market research, we got your definition of market research, and then we got your satisfaction, always guaranteed with most things, or your money back. Then you got the advertising analysis, which Super Bowl commercials, not worth it. Analyzed, done. All right, and then you got your optimization, which is just a buzzword for things, and most of these are just buzzwords for people to have jobs and keep jobs. Market research to me has always been winging it. Gut feelings. So to learn this, I already got some books. These are the top books. I'm gonna get on Google, I'm gonna find some other resources, probably some tutorials, YouTube videos. And then I'm gonna go talk to Jeff, who's an expert. He has a PhD and he's written a book on it, so he's legit. And then I'm gonna participate in some market research myself, which I don't know what that means yet. Time will tell.
If you've ever bought something or had someone buy something for you, you have been the subject of market research. In other words, my friend, you are just one big guinea pig. Yep, companies want to know a lot of stuff about the people they're selling to and what these people think. And they use market research to find out. It's a $40 billion a year industry. That's with a B. So is the fur trade, the cosmetics business, and the dye industry. So yeah, it's a capital B big. And people have been doing it ever since World War II's propaganda campaigns. But what is market research exactly? Feels pretty scientific to me. Turns out it is, and a whole lot of other things as well. Market research uses anything from focus groups, to in-depth interviews, to mystery shopping, to online surveys, and even Twitter to gather data and then use that to make business decisions. Decisions like the color of next year's Honda Accord, whether your favorite soap opera gets renewed, or how much you'd be willing to pay for a pair of skinny jeans. In fact, market research has given us famous products like the Trapper Keeper, the minivan, and more natural ingredients in your morning cereal. But market research isn't a silver bullet. Phew. There are plenty of products that fail, even when the research said they wouldn't. Where do I even start? You know, New Coke, the Apple Newton, Cosmopolitan Yogurt, the Zune, Netflix Quickster misstep, Bic disposable underwear. What could possibly go wrong? We all know Crystal Pepsi, but what about Pepsi AM? Then there's the failures of Google Buzz, Google Wave, and Google Plus. Oh wait, no, I had that right. There are times when a company ignores the market research and becomes wildly successful. Like August Busch III. Maybe you've heard of his beer? And maybe you've seen this Apple 1984 commercial. The research group hated it, but the Super Bowl airtime was already purchased, so they ran it anyway, and it became arguably the most famous Super Bowl commercial of all time. So it seems market research is more of an art than an exact science. It can't predict the future, it can't tell you what product will make you stupid rich, but good market research can tell you what pain people feel and what's important to them. Just don't get so caught up in it that you become the next Segway. Now time for me to researching research markets. See what I did there?
So Degreed has this new amazing app, which I'm gonna be using this episode to find resources as well as track all of the learning that I'm doing. If you wanna follow along, you can hop on my pathway on Degreed and you can also see it on the app, which is pretty cool. So I found a bunch of books on market research. I like to use Audible so I could listen to books while I do other things.
Have you ever grabbed for a coupon offering a free package of coffee beans, even though you don't drink coffee and don't even have a machine with which to brew it? What about all those free extra helpings you piled on your plate at a buffet, even though your stomach had already started to ache from all the food you had consumed? And what about the worthless free stuff you've accumulated? The promotional t-shirt from the radio station, the teddy bear.
You might think that The Modelers is a modeling agency, but they're actually a market research firm here in Salt Lake City.
This is the multinomial logit model, which is the main choice model we use all the time. So up here, this right here is basically, in a lot of ways, that's the value of your product I, and this down here is the value of all of the competitive products. Marketing research is all about understanding people, ultimately. Now, how do I understand people and their needs and what they're willing to pay, what they want to buy, what my messages should be that are going to resonate them, how I build my brand. We live in a hyper-competitive world, and it's harder to make optimal decisions across all those areas than ever before.
What are your first steps?
The first thing is almost always taking a big step back and asking, now, what question are we really trying to answer? What is your business problem? And then your next step is, what data do I have available? What are we going to have to gather to shed light on the question? I think that's one of the real problems with just all the data, is how hard it is to stay focused on the data that answer the questions that you need to answer to drive your business forward. We have to be really careful about who we talk to, the way we ask the questions, and then how we analyze the data when we're done. Market research and really deeply understanding people and their motivations and what they're going to do and all this prediction, all of it comes down to, how do I get people to buy my stuff? And why do people buy stuff? So
Jeff had so much wisdom to impart regarding market research that we couldn't fit it all into the episode. Check out his full interview here.
They walk into the tool aisle, they look at.
After talking to Jeff at the Modelers, I wanted to find a company that was doing something different with market research. So I researched and I found Chapul, which is a rad little Utah company that's doing something really crazy, trying to get people to eat crickets.
My expertise in cricket bar manufacturing.
Life, cricket bars.
Life. Experiential education, for sure. So when it came to business, didn't have any experience, so just listened to free podcasts, took people out to lunch, did as much free education as possible, basically, yeah. I had a job at the time, and I would take the bus to work. It was like a 45-minute bus ride, and so it was perfect for a lecture from like Harvard Business School podcast or like Oxford School of Entrepreneurship. And I would just listen to a lesson on the way to work and listen to a lesson on the way back to work. And sometimes I would listen to a lesson, get an hour early and go to the public library and get a book on accounting and just like skim through and like learn as much as I could from free resources available. I got a degree in hydrology to think about kind of big picture, our communities, our civilizations. What are we doing with our water? Where are we going to get it in the future? You know, where's our food going to come from in the future? Because it's very evident that we need some big changes. So that's kind of the lens that I was looking through when, before I started Chapul. I dove into kind of the largest consumer of water, which is our food. Here in the West, 80% of our water goes to agriculture. And so I tried to figure out how we can use less water to produce the food that we're eating. And that's where I was kind of looking from when I listened to this TED Talk about insects. And it was this Dutch professor. He was like, we should be eating insects. Most of the world does. And it's just cultural reasons why we don't. And so I crunched the numbers from a water perspective and decided that it's absolutely something that we should be incorporating into our food supply here, for the benefit of our children. And the only thing that is preventing it is cultural reasons, which AKA marketing. And we decided that an energy bar would be the most familiar product, like very super high convenience. We didn't have any experience with food or making food other than in our own homes. It was trial and error, bring a bunch of friends over for a party, do blind taste tests. Do you like this one better? A, B, or C? And
So market research for you guys from the start was what?
Just picking up the phone, like talking to people. We knew that it was a biased sample because people were excited about us. And so we tried to eliminate that as much as possible. And when we did, then there was a lot more hesitation. Like, what is this? This is crazy. Like, we did a really specific focus group on like people that love Chapul and why do they love Chapul? What is it exactly? And one thing we found is people that buy our bars regularly, it was kind of split between three reasons why they're repeat purchases. It's either the taste, the second reason was the nutritional aspect, and then the third reason was the environmental ethic. Almost all of them initially bought it for just curiosity.
Having that knowledge that you guys got from market research, how does that now affect, going forward with your business?
It's interesting because when we launched it, there was no market research about insect protein. So that's developed over the 4 years we've been in existence as a business. And so now we can take that 4 years of history and all that market research that we've basically created and develop our next line of products that address that market that now exists. Now we're going to tweak our product to address kind of the concerns about that initial purchase, as well as like boost each one of those 3 categories of why people are buying it. In hindsight, I would focus way more energy on market research, because everything about your business, everything about your product is all about that end user. Like the more you know them, the better. And everything should be focused and designed around that person, around those people, that community.
Are your crickets free range?
They're not free range, but our living conditions mimic their natural environment.
They have Netflix accounts.
Yeah, totally.
That's very cush.
They like dark, cozy places, like under rocks and things like that.
Okay.
So that's what we provide to them.
So Chapul wanted to know what kids think of their products, so I'm going to Pegasus Research to learn how to do a focus group.
I'm Kimberly Anderson. I work here at Pegasus Research. I'm an expert in understanding that you can never predict people. Focus group and qualitative research in general is very exploratory, so it's a forum to be able to gather people's opinions and perceptions. The first rule in designing good research is to keep it simple. Ask only the questions you need to know. A second key rule in terms of designing good research is to ensure that the right safety and welfare of subjects are protected. A third key rule is to be transparent. Being transparent is key, and documentation is critical. And in research, they say if it's not documented, it didn't happen.
So we brought in a bunch of kids and we gave them the option of trying the bar before we told them what the secret ingredient was. We're gonna be doing, they call this a focus group, so stay focused, okay? We're gonna be doing a taste test. You guys okay with the taste test? Yep. These are like granola bars. You guys know what granola bars are, right? Okay. So the company that makes these granola bars wanted to know what kids think about the flavors. And so we got you guys here to try out the flavors and see if you like them. Or don't like it. Exactly. And so these are special bars though. Yeah. They have a special ingredient in them. So, do you guys want to try them before I tell you the special ingredient? You want to try it? Try it. All right, McKay's going for the Thai bar. Yeah, no, you can wait on this one. Okay. All right. Oh, you're going for the cayenne. All right. Just tell me what you think.
Tastes more like coffee than I imagined.
Really? Yeah, I agree on that. And chocolate.
It's pretty good. Yeah.
What do you guys think? That one's kind of weird.
I like chocolate.
The chocolate's good. I think that's a plus, right? What do you think? Does it taste good though? You like it, Austin?
Yeah.
Sadie's not stoked.
I don't like it.
You don't like it? What don't you like about it?
I don't know, but it's, I don't know.
You don't like it?
Texture's the only thing that's keeping me from eating it all.
Really?
Tastes like a normal protein bar.
The ginger was a little bit too high. I think they should lower it a little bit.
Okay. What about you, Titan? Did you like that? Pretty tasty. Would you ask your mom for more of those? What about you? Did you like it?
A little bit.
Okay, do you guys want to know what the secret ingredient is?
What?
It was fun to see their reactions once we told them there were crickets in them. They freaked out a little bit.
What?
No kids were harmed in the filming of this focus group. Crickets, can't say the same. Lots of them, ground up. So the older kids, the cricket side of the bar didn't even faze them at all, but they definitely had some ideas on, how to market it to younger kids. A lot of the younger kids said, if they added more fruit, made it more sugary, basically take all the health factors out of it. So good luck, Chapul. Good luck. So after digging through all the resources that I found for this episode, from the books, the articles, and some of the YouTube tutorials, and talking to Jeff at the Modelers, talking to Chapul and seeing what they wanted to find out, and then going to Pegasus Research and seeing how to do a focus group, and doing the focus group, these are kind of my takeaways from this episode. So number one, knowing why someone is buying your product is almost as important as who is buying your product. And you can find that kind of stuff out using market research. Number two, there are so many ways besides focus groups and interviews to find data about your product. People like the Modelers can dig in and find data in everything. My third takeaway is that all companies should be using market research in their business decisions. You gotta gather the data, and then you have to trust the data. If you need to do it on your own, it's totally doable.
I started off the season with $15,000 for learning resources. I have $12,315 of that left for the rest of the topics. Here's what I spent learning about market research. A lot of books. So I bought Predictably Irrational on Audible for $19.55. I bought Blue Ocean Strategy for $18.33. I bought Influence for $10.16. I bought Buyer Personas for $20.20. The biggest book I bought was Marketing Research. I got the 7th edition. It was used and I bought it for $61.20. I also read Jeff's book, 7 Summits of Marketing Research, and he gives it away for free. There's also a ton of stuff online for free, like articles and podcasts, so if you want to learn more, check that out.
On the next episode of Ryan Learns Something, I learn how to sell stuff on the internet. Not this way. Turn that blocker on. I still like pop-ups.